He was getting old and paunchy, and his hair was falling fast, and he sat around the Legion telling stories of the past, of a war that he once fought in and the deeds that he had done. In his exploits with his buddies, they were heroes, every one. And though sometimes to his neighbors his tales became a joke, all his buddies listened quietly, for they knew whereof he spoke. But we'll hear his tales no longer, for old Joe has passed away, and the world's a little poorer, for a soldier died today. He held a job and raised a family, going quietly on his way, and the world won't know his passing, though a soldier died today. The greatest contribution to the welfare of our land is an ordinary fellow who in times of war and strife goes off to serve his country and offers up his life. He was just a common warrior, and his ranks are growing thin, but his presence should remind us we may need his likes again. For when countries are in conflict, we find the soldier's part is to clean up all the troubles that our politicians start. If we cannot do him honor while he's here to hear the praise, then at least let's give him homage at the ending of his days. Perhaps just a simple headline in the paper that might say, "Our country is in mourning, for a soldier died today." Memorial Day is officially celebrated the last Sunday in May, and is the holiday set aside to pay tribute and to remember those souls, those men and women who died while serving in our country's armed forces. Memorial Day and Veterans Day in November often get confused, but Veterans Day was set aside to honor all and to celebrate all those who have served in the military throughout our country's history. Both holidays honor the military, but in different ways. For our purpose this morning, we're going to combine the two and celebrate all men and women who have served or are currently serving in our military, or who were wounded or died while serving in the armed forces. On this most solemn holiday, we are asked to stop and consider the great sacrifices that others have made so that we may have the freedom and prosperity that we have in our safety in our world. Let us consider what those valiant warriors were fighting for, and let us honor each and every one of them with a prayer and a pledge to restore to this nation the honor and morality, the values and the love of God for which so many gave their lives. Last week I talked at length about the Peace Prayer Society and how it was designed by an elderly Japanese man after World War II to bring peace to the hearts and minds of all humanity on this small planet. And that we were going to be having a fundraiser to purchase a new peace pole to be planted in the front of the church that will replace the deteriorating one that's planted out there now. If you haven't seen it, be sure to look as you go out. It isn't a real pretty sight these days because it's been up for so long, but it does say, "May peace prevail on earth," in 4 languages, one on each side. In honor of all those whose personal lives have been served in the military at one time or another, we have set up a display downstairs and invite you to place the name of any loved ones that you wish to remember and honor on one of the small stars placed there, and then to hang the star on one of the 2 trees. The blue star represents those who served and returned home, and the gold star represents those who did not return home. There's a golden box sitting there in which we invite you to make a donation in honor of those names who you have placed on the military trees. For example, I've already placed a gold star on the tree to honor my grandfather, Charles Davis, who died during World War I. 2 blue stars were placed on the tree to honor Robert, one for his service in World War II and one for his service in Korea. And then we placed a 3rd blue star for the honor our son Don, who served in Vietnam. You may place as many names as you wish and just hang them on one of the branches of the 2 trees. The donations will go toward the purchase of a new peace pole, so please take a moment when you go downstairs to check the names that are already there, say a short prayer, and add any names of those that you wish to honor. By the way, a special thank you to Mara and Robert for creating the stars. Thank you to Monica for creating the Mod Podge bowls that hold the stars. They are for sale, by the way, when the stars are gone. Thanks to Lorraine for making the first contribution to the peace pole purchase, and to Laurie who did the research for the new peace pole. And by the way, when you're downstairs, Patricia and Marianne spent time putting a new, beautiful display in Allie's room of the various Mod Podge pieces, and we now have dishwasher-proof, safe Mod Podge bowls and plates, so please check those out also. Now then, having spoken and dedicated to all those who have died, let's for a moment address the illusion of death. For we know from the Course of Miracles that there truly is no death except that of the physical body. There is no death because what God created shares His life. There is no death because no opposite to God exists. Native Americans, and even as far back as the Egyptians, believed that death of the body was only a change of worlds, a passing from one world to another. And what we are living in as we occupy these human bodies is a dream world. The Course says that the nature of the dream world we are living in is that it does not represent reality, but rather a thought projection. Our bodies are but a symbol of what we think we are, for the body does not exist except as a learning experience for the mind. But once in this dream world, we must live in it and cope with it in a morally responsible, loving, and forgiving way, as Jesus taught us, so that we can wake up from this dream as soon as the lesson of our schooling in this earthly classroom has been completed. Our goal is to live in this dream world in a peaceful way, not with all the conflict both internationally and personally. Kenneth Wapnick, one of the leading teachers and interpreters of the Course, says that the Course does not deny the physical death within the level of the dream, but that there are actually 2 kinds of death. There is the death that comes through guilt and fear, and the fear of judgment from the ego's falsely projected image of God. Then there is the death which is described as a quiet laying down of the physical body when our work is done, recognizing that we have fulfilled the purpose of our being here, namely to have learned to be more loving and forgiving. Then our death can be a peaceful one. The experience of living in peace here within the dream is a way of living with each other, with all our brothers and sisters, both individually and between nations, having the state of mind in which there is no conflict, for conflict is man-made, not God-made, and what is made by man is unreal. In our God mind, we remember our oneness with all creation as children created in the image and likeness of God, created as whole, perfect, and complete. Many of our military men and women quietly laid down their lives after they fulfilled their own purpose. Others served toward that same goal. All gave some, and some gave all. All gave some, and some gave all. That is what we are honoring today. Their service to protect our country and its people, striving to bring peace to all nations. Someone once said that if Christians really understood the full extent of the power that we have available through prayer, we would actually be speechless. During World War II, there was an advisor to Winston Churchill who organized a group of people who stopped what they were doing every day at a prescribed hour for 1 minute to collectively pray for England, its people, and peace. There is also a group of people here in America doing the same thing. If you would like to participate, stop what you are doing at 8 p.m. Central Time, and for 1 minute, pray for the safety of the United States, our troops, our citizens, our leaders, and for a return to a godly nation. Our collective prayers can be the most powerful asset we have. In addition to independently offering a prayer for our troops and our country each evening at 8 p.m., back in 1997, a lady by the name of Carmela Laspada initiated a national moment of remembrance, which was later established by Congress in 2000, in which a prayer has been given by thousands of United States citizens at 3 p.m. on Memorial Day. This organization is called No Greater Love and honors our fallen, our troops, our veterans, their families, and our leaders. One